What is going on, Maniacs? Welcome to the Manga Madhouse, the channel where I, Darren, take you through my manga collection journey. We talk everything manga on this channel, so if that interests you, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below so you can become a part of this amazing community. We have a Discord coming out literally in like whenever I get like 20 more subscribers. It's going to be great. So if that interests you, like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. If you cannot tell by the thumbnail title of this video, in today's video, we're going to be catching up on things I've read. I do this video every week where I just kind of talk about different things. So, and I have timestamps down below of certain books and certain things on certain topics really. So you can go ahead, feel free to click around. The first thing I actually want to talk about is this video I'm preparing for Akira Toriyama, obviously the creator of Dragon Ball, who passed away. Essentially, I'm doing another Beyond the Spine. I think it would make the most sense for me to do a Beyond the Spine for him. If you're not familiar with Beyond the Spine, it's basically a series where I just talk about really just the style of certain mangaka. The first and only one I've done was for Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man. So it just felt right to do one of Akira Toriyama. And this one's going to be a lot different as far as the editing style. So I'm really eager and just hoping to see how receptive you are to this video, because it's not going to be typically like my other videos. And some small part of me wonders if I should, depending on how this one goes, some small part of me wonders if I should make that series kind of another channel because of the direction I'm about to take it. We'll see once that video comes out. But the reason I bring that up is not really to inform you of the video, because I have no idea when the video is coming out, because like I said, I'm just trying a bunch of different things with that video. Really, I just want to talk about what I've read to prepare for that video. So once again, as I do with that series, I kind of talk about different works and then talk about the main one as well. So on the Tatsuki Fujimoto one, I talked about Goodbye Eerie, and I talked about Look Back, and then I kind of brought that in to talk about Chainsaw Man. So in this one, before obviously getting to Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, I want to talk about other things that he created before then. So therefore, I was reading things like Wonder Island, which is also on the Shonen Jump app. Really, I think I read it on the Viz Media app. I don't know, because sometimes like something will be on the Shonen Jump app and not on the Viz Media app. So it's not too often, but sometimes that does happen. So I can't quite remember which one I read it on, but I think it should be on either or. Anyway, I read, like I said, I read Wonder Island. He also had two others like Mysterious Rain Jack, which I can't find anywhere. I think the only way I could find it is in Polish. Don't know Polish, so I was not unable to read that. And then there was one more that he created that I was not able to find either. Anyway, reading Wonder Island, we could talk about that first. It's just, I mean, the comedy in it is very similar and reminiscent of Dragon Ball, and I'm pretty sure you all know Dragon Ball was originally a comedy. That's kind of how it was supposed to be, and it's just tick for tat almost. I mean, obviously some of the jokes hit a little different, and we'll talk more about that in the video, but it's literally not too different, and so it's interesting to see how Toriyama's kind of just how it's almost like he got funnier. I don't think there was really much technical stuff for him to do, except for just make your jokes hit a little more, and they did once Dragon Ball came around. And you could really see that and like I said, we'll just keep jumping around, but you could really see that in Dr. Slump, which is actually what I'm reading right now, just to prepare. I'm not going to read the whole thing, because Wonder Island, it was literally the first part of Wonder Island was 2 chapters, the second part of Wonder Island was 1 chapter. But Dr. Slump is a whole series. I think it ended up having 18 volumes total. I don't remember how many chapters that is, but I only read the first 3 chapters. I only plan to maybe read the first like 10, maybe 5, just to kind of get a synopsis and just see, because not much is going to change, obviously, throughout the whole manga. You can see once Dr. Slump comes around, a lot of the same tropes that we saw in Dragon Ball, even down to the comedic bits, they were very, very present in Dr. Slump as well. So it was just cool to kind of see that transition, because if anything, he just got better at his craft. I don't think that he had this like transformation of who he was as a mangaka, as a creator. It was just more so, this is my lane, this kind of odd sci-fi-ish lane, but I'm going to enhance that and involve aliens and stuff. And, obviously as we get into Dragon Ball. So Really, really cool. But like I said, that video, I have no idea when it's going to come out. Just know I'm working on it. It's just going to be completely different from things I've done before. So I hope a lot of comments on that video, whether you're telling me it sucked, whether you're telling me it was great. I just hope a lot of interaction on that video when it does come out, just so I can get a good idea, because I don't want to flood this channel with that and have people looking for those when, you know, they could just be on another channel. I don't know. I just trying to figure out what works best, because YouTube's really weird. So you don't want to just mix things up and kind of confuse everybody. My hope is that it can stay on the channel, but because I don't want it, if it gets too big, then obviously people are going to want that. It would need a separate channel, because I love doing what I do here, and obviously this is how I built my community. So I don't want to divvy from what I'm doing now. Anyway, that stuff out the way. Next I'm going to be talking about Tokyo Ghoul. I've been reading a lot more of Tokyo Ghoul, and I mean, still kind of the same sentiments I had last time about just kind of, you're learning more about ghouls as you go. It's not too much information at one time, but it's also not too little. You're able to progress the story. What I really dislike about it right now, and not this dislike doesn't change my thought of the series or my thought of the characters. Well, maybe my character, but doesn't make me like the series any less. I still really enjoy the series, and actually I have like an ongoing list of like my favorite manga, and Tokyo Ghoul's high is up there. But really with Kaneki, my issue with him so far is that he's almost a little too pretentious when it comes to the difference between him being a ghoul and him being a human. Yes, he is both technically. Everybody says like, your smell is different. You're not quite a ghoul. You're not quite a human. Everybody says it to him when they meet him for the first time, but he's still just some things that ghouls do. He's kind of like, oh, I could never, or and it's just like, dude, like, you might need to, focus on that and listen to the people around you who are trying to tell you, like, you're not human anymore. Yes, I understand that it's really hard for you to accept being a ghoul, and I understand, like, of course, like the writing, like that's why I'm saying it doesn't affect how I feel about the series, because I feel like, I really wish I could remember the manga's name, but they're doing a great job. Like, this doesn't take away from that. It's just more so what I'm saying is it's annoying, but in a good way. He did this on purpose, and it's creating good kind of friction between how Kaneki is feeling. And it's also, kind of upsetting the people around him, because he does kind of feel this way, but they're like, this is what we do. So either you're with us or you're not. You being with us doesn't mean you have to hate humans. I feel like Mr. Yoshimura, if I'm not mistaken, the guy who owns the coffee shop, he kind of said that you don't have to necessarily be this evil being, but you do have to decide, one, to help you survive, because you need to eat and grow strong and whatnot. But two, those humans, they're going to see you as a ghoul. It does not matter. So it's just very important that you obviously stay in tune, that you're kind of balancing two worlds here, but you can really be the bridge. You can really be that person. You just have to do that. You have to accept that you are the bridge. You can't just keep denying it. And I think that's a good dialogue and good things to tell Kaneki, because he just is really repulsed by the idea of being a ghoul. But all in all, I mean, artwork's incredible. The fight scenes are good. Just really, really great stuff overall, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Next, I would like to talk about the new Chainsaw Man. I read Chainsaw Man, the new chapter. I actually read the last two chapters, 'cause I think last time I released a video, a chapter released that day, and I didn't talk about it. So, and I'll put the chapters in the little thing down here, the timeline or whatever you want to, the chapters, of course, that's what they're called. In the last chapter, you had Asa and Fami kind of walk into like the demon detention. It was something like that. I forgot the actual title or whatever they called the building, but they walked inside, and essentially they were just trying to sneak by everybody, and then they realized that they're kind of using Asa as like a tool in a different way, because I want to say that the I'm trying not to say ghoul, but the demon of war, I really can't remember their name, but they were telling Fami like, hey, you're getting her to do whatever you want. And it's like, yeah, you actually don't have to touch people to turn them into a weapon, which I thought was cool, because you can manipulate people to do stuff for you, which is how they were able to control like the cannons and stuff around them. But it was a cool like little concept, and that's really where I feel like Fujimoto's at his best, is like when he's not slapping the message in your face. It was just something so subtle. They kind of moved on from it, but it meant a lot to the story, because they I mean, yes, they have Asa thinking, oh, she's going to save Chainsaw Man because Chainsaw Man has saved her so many times and her heart has changed. And as far as her, appearance or her opinion on Chainsaw Man, because she, obviously met Denji and been around Denji. But that's just an important message because, like I said, you tricked her, but you're still getting her to do what you want her to do. And you've turned her into a weapon without, which we know that was the War Devils. I said demon. It's devil. The War Devil's whole point was to kind of work with Asa to become, obviously stronger. So it was just really good stuff to see. And like I said, it didn't take up the whole chapter. It didn't take up everything. It was just something said in passing, but it meant so much to the story. Then they go in there and then she trips. And then that causes everybody to look at her after they try to, sneak past everybody. Then we go on to the next chapter. And so in the next chapter, essentially what happens is Family summons this like guillotine bird thing. And then it like cuts all the guns in half and makes the clothes of the guys fall off. And then that's really it. Once they move past that part, they release some people who come out, and I think we're supposed to recognize them. They're from the Church of Chainsaw Man. I don't quite recognize them. That's one thing I will say about this manga. Is like, outside of the very distinct characters, once we're in part 2 of Chainsaw Man, I don't really recognize too many people, especially when they're not in their normal, like, drawn the way they typically are, whether that's their outfits or whatever. So that could be just me, but it didn't really hit me. It didn't really do anything for me seeing them. But essentially, Asa goes on to tell them they're looking for Chainsaw Man. And they're like, oh, wow, Chainsaw Man's here. So they chase them because they're like, oh, I get to meet Chainsaw Man. That's kind of where it ends. So another chapter where it's a little frustrating because I felt like we were getting somewhere. And then I know that this is going to continue to push the story along. It's one of those chapters. And when you're in a week-to-week setting, you kind of don't want that. But when you're reading it all together, when I go back and read it once it's finally done, it may make more sense. It may be something I enjoy a lot more. Just reading it week to week is kind of, you're really looking for more because those chapters, it just doesn't align. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, of course. Still on the camp of enjoying Chainsaw Man thoroughly, but just the week to week, I do feel like it takes a little bit out of it, essentially just because of the fact that you don't feel like you're getting much in every chapter. Like, it's been a minute since we have had a decent, like a really, really good chapter, even though I did mention the chapter before this one was actually pretty good, but still, I'm not like jumping ship or anything or just going to wait. I'm thinking about possibly waiting and just letting the kind of chapters build, but we'll see. As of right now, I'll continue reading it week to week. Another thing I am reading, and as you all know, is Blue Giant. I hate to sound like this, but Blue Giant is still very stale. I am chapter 49, maybe 50, and I'm really planning to kind of like up that. I plan to kind of hopefully get that done soon. It's just, I can't remember his name, and I've been really bad because I guess I'm reading too much and I can't remember everybody's name, but the pianist in Blue Giant, I'm really a little off about him. And because I do like this. I'll say this. I do like how for Die, it's more of so him being understanding that jazz is just for everybody to enjoy. Yes, I want to be a jazz musician, but the reason I want to be a jazz musician is so that I can kind of spread the love of jazz. I can make people happy, this, that, and the other. The pianist guy, who I can't remember his name right now, he is just more infatuated with being a jazz musician for the sake of being a jazz musician and being good at it for the sake of being good at it. Like Tamada, when they tried to bring in him to do the drums, he was not having it. But Dai was like, hey, let him try. One, that's his friend. But two, that's what jazz is all about. So having those two kind of go back and forth but still kind of mesh well together is very good to see. They're both obviously really talented, and it's kind of getting to the point where Tamada feels as though he's holding them back, but he's still working on it, and they kind of still want him to be there. But overall, it's just getting a little, I wouldn't say boring. It's not boring, but when I'm reading, I'll say this. The last couple of chapters I was reading for Blue Giant, I was like, I should be reading Tokyo Ghoul because I'm enjoying Tokyo Ghoul more. But it's still a really, really good manga, and I'll have to admit, there's some things around. We'll talk about this in a second, but it's made me want to look at something I've always kind of hoped to do, just never actually took the effort to do, took the initiative to do, and it has inspired me. Seeing Dai just go through, it's essentially just him going through life, but just the way he carries himself, the way you can see like his his grind and grit for wanting to be a jazz musician, the way he just feels about and so passionate about it, it made me want to pursue something. So as we'll go ahead and move into that, I picked up drawing. Now, it really all because of this. I can't draw. I've never been a drawer. I've never used to doodle. I never used to do any of that. But watching this, I do have a thing where I want to tell stories. I've always wanted to do that. Just I've never known how to do it. I thought about writing. I think that's kind of part of the reason I even got into creating content in the first place. I really, really would like to do movies maybe one day. I don't know how this all planned out. This is just all on top of my head. And which is why I'm hoping this Akira Toriyama thing kind of pans out, because I feel like it is a form of storytelling. And yes, the first one might not be good, but it's a start. So I'm hoping that kind of goes well. And that's why I'm trying something different to kind of scratch that itch. But yeah, I've started to pick up drawing and just wanted to dedicate something, for myself and say, okay, how much, can I do this for? Can I get passionate about it? I'm not going to force myself to be passionate about drawing, but it's just trying to try different things to see what I am passionate about outside of just like I said, I really enjoy creating content, but what else can I do? And I'm passionate about reading manga. I really, really enjoy it. It's literally my favorite hobby right now, and probably will forever be. I don't think I've ever been captured by something the way I have, and a lot of it's thanks to y'all, because I have the community to talk to rave about certain stuff with. But yeah, I picked up drawing literally because of this manga. Now, obviously, manga is not jazz. I did play trumpet back in the day, but drawing is not jazz. But it did make me want to just pursue something and see what happens when you give something your all. I don't have to be great at it. I don't have to be amazing at it, but I'm going to give it my all, and we're going to see where it goes. I got a drawing kits and everything, and so my wife supported me. I mean, that's cool. She's actually a pretty good drawer. She was just showing me a couple things because I got the kit yesterday, and she's actually a pretty good drawer. But yeah, for me, I just want to try it out. Just see what it's like. But reading Blue Giant has done that for me. So I'm really interested and just excited to see kind of where that takes me. But I do hope to finish it soon, which I got to finish it by the end of the month, so I don't get too behind on my TBR. But overall, I think it's a really great manga. I think the story behind it's still amazing. I just think in this little lull part, the last 10 or so chapters have not just been for me. But I do like what it's doing for the story. So it might be one of those things, as I mentioned earlier with Tokyo Ghoul, where it could be on purpose and it's supposed to invoke these feelings. It's just obviously you don't want to feel this way. So we'll see. We'll see as I continue to read. All right, that does it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I have a really cool manga haul coming up for y'all. I think you're just going to be excited about what I have in it. It's nothing special about it. It's just what I got. I think you're really going to like. I'm really excited for it, and I'm really excited to once again keep creating content, keep thinking of new ideas, because I have a couple of new ideas that I want to share. But once again, like I said, thank you so much for watching the video. We only need literally 20 something more subscribers, and then Discord can come out, because like I said, once the channel hits 1,000 subscribers, the Discord will be out. The Discord is ready. I've got it approved by 2 people who I trust their opinion of. So all it is just getting to the 1K mark, and then we'll probably try to work on a giveaway as well. I don't want this channel to be, oh, he just likes giving stuff away, but I am a very charitable person. I try to support those who support me, and y'all have done nothing but support me this last year or so. I mean, it really hasn't been a year, but still, you've done nothing to support me, so I want to give back. That's kind of just how I take it. So I hope that it's not seen as, oh, I'm interacting or doing stuff to get whatever he's giving out, but it's just like a token of appreciation. So if it was up to me, I'd give something to everybody, but unfortunately I don't have the money like that. Maybe when the channel keeps growing, one day I will. We'll see. But thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you watching even 1 second of my video. I know I say that a lot, but I really mean it. I'm just grateful for all of you who just watch my videos. And I'll see y'all guys this Saturday. I have no idea what this Saturday's video is going to be. It actually might be the manga haul, because once I get this last little bit, I don't have anything else I'm planning on getting, because obviously it's getting that time for the baby, so gotta slow down. So I don't really think I'm getting anything else. Maybe you'll get the March manga haul extremely early. We'll see. But I'm still thinking of stuff. But thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.